Welcome back, Weight Warriors. We're calculating TDEE, or your Total Daily Energy Expenditure. If you're someone who's on a fat loss journey like I am, or you're planning to start one, you're in the right place. I'm Mike. I'm a fat guy trying not to be fat anymore by making lifestyle changes and documenting the progress. Now, we've talked about TDEE in previous videos. I went pretty in-depth with what it is, the different categories, but I wanted to go even more in-depth on this video in calculation, or at least how to calculate it and how to use that calculation on a weight loss journey. And I know TDEE, calculating it sounds tedious and annoying, but it is important and it's going to help you in the long run. And I'm going to break it down into easy steps, maybe even run through an example here, but let's get started. First things first, what is TDEE? Simply put, it's the total amount of energy or calories that you burn in a day. This includes everything from your basal metabolic rate, which is like your coma calories, is what some people call it. That's, the energy that you burn at complete and total rest without doing anything. To the other end of the spectrum is the calories that you burn doing physical activity or even digestion. And again, TDEE is important when losing weight because essentially you need to be in a calorie deficit to get your body to burn the stored fat. And to do that, you need to know how many calories you're burning throughout a day, so then you can create a calorie deficit to get into those fat stores. And it's also important that if you're enjoying this video to hit the like button. I make these videos to try to help you, and as a return of that favor, it really helps us in the YouTube algorithm. If you can like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and like I said, feel free to comment down below what your TDEE is. Anyway, getting back to calculating TDEE, there are a few different methods, and again, your TDEE can be broken down into 4 main categories. And you can calculate each one of these categories to get an estimate on your TDEE. The first of the 4 categories would be your basal metabolic rate, or BMR. This is the amount of energy that your body burns at complete and total rest, aka coma calories. Online calculators can help you figure out your BMR. There are also like some pretty intense carbon dioxide that you breathe out where it can calculate how much calories your body's just burning at rest. Pretty cool stuff. But essentially, online calculator is cheap, easy, and you can do that right now. Next is EAT, or exercise activity thermogenesis, which is the amount of energy you burn through physical activity like working out. Stuff like running, resistance training, anaerobic, aerobic activity. This is, again, EAT. And to estimate your EAT, you'll need to know a couple things, mostly how much time and the type of activity that you're doing. So how long were you running? How long were you lifting weights? How long were you swimming? Those sort of things, you can kind of figure out how many calories you actually burned during that activity. After EAT, next would be NEAT, the non-exercise activity thermogenesis. This is the amount of energy you burn throughout the day by just moving and doing kind of basic stuff like walking to work, fidgeting, chewing gum, laughing, all that kind of stuff is NEAT. To calculate your NEAT, probably your best bet is to use a fitness tracker or a smartwatch to get an estimate of your total calories burned throughout the day. Then finally, we have TEF, the thermic effect of food. This is the amount of energy your body burns in digesting, breaking down food. There's not really a calculator for this. It's pretty safe just to assume that this makes up about 10% of your total daily energy expenditure, or TDEE. Now, let's move on how to calculate your TDEE the easy way. Just use an online calculator. TDEE calculators, they're all over the internet. There's some pretty reputable ones, and they really do make it easy. All you need to do is enter your information, and the calculator will give you an estimate of your TDEE. Now, online calculators can give you a good estimate. I say estimate rather than calculation of your total daily energy expenditure, because it's important to keep in mind that they are not 100% accurate. These calculators typically use formulas that use broad information like your height, weight, gender, activity level to estimate your TDEE. But, and this is a big but, these formulas are not perfect and may not account for individual factors that can affect your TDEE, such as genetics, hormones, and certain medical conditions that you may or may not have. Of course, there's also the activity level you choose when you use an online TDEE calculator. And this can also really impact the accuracy of the calculation. For example, if you overestimate your activity level, the calculator will probably give you a higher TDEE than what you actually have, which makes it harder for you to use that info in the long run. That being said, online TDE calculators can still be a really useful tool in getting a general idea of how many calories you should be consuming in a day. But remember that the number provided should really be taken as a general guide, rather not as an exact figure of that is your absolute TDEE. The advice that I would give myself, or I did give myself, here is to use a TDE calculator, that TDE number from the calculator, as a starting point, and to adjust the calories based on individual needs and goals. For example, if you find that you are not losing weight, rate that you expect, and you're pretty much never hungry, your TDE calculator probably was estimating wrong. But on the other side, if you're always starving, you're losing way too much weight too quickly, you might want to increase. And so that's why this is all a bit of an experiment on whether you should reduce your calories or increase your physical activity to create a bigger deficit. Ultimately, the important thing is to listen to your body and make adjustments as needed. By monitoring your progress over time and adjusting your calorie intake and activity level as needed, you can achieve your weight loss goals in a safe and sustainable way.